So now finally we'll start up our app with npm start, and we're going to begin by creating the individual routes that we laid out here in our README file. All of our routes are going to be created within our app.js file, and we're going to be using the package. If we look at our package.json file, we're going to be using the package React Router DOM in order to create our routes. So within app.js, we're first going to import, as a named import, what's called browser router from React Router DOM. So as the name says, this is a router specifically for the browser, and oftentimes you want to rename that using the as keyword. Just for convenience, we want to rename that to router. And we're also going to need the following components: switch and route. So the way that we're going to set this up is, instead of returning a div with the text app, we're going to use our router just like a normal React component. This is what's powerful about using the package React Router or React Router DOM. We use them in the way that we're most familiar as React developers. We use them just as basic React components. So we're going to pass as a single child to the router a switch component. And this switch component is going to take control of which route to use. It's going to switch between all of the routes that we put between its tags as children. So we can declaratively list out each of our routes using the route component. And for our first route, we want it mapped to the path of /, and this is going to be our feed page. So again, this is the root route, so we use the path prop to set that to the string just /, and we can add a component to this route. We can link a component to this route using the component prop. And we're going to need to import that. We're going to need to import the feed page from our pages folder. So we'll call this feed page from /pages/feed. And then we'll just include a reference to the feed page. We don't need to include it as an actual component here. And we just want to make sure this first route works. So we'll save app.js. And when our app loads, we should see the text feed page. So that component's being displayed for our root route. And now to add all of our other routes, we can just import everything from pages with their appropriate names. So after feed page, we'll import the explore page, then the profile page, from /profile, then post page from the post file, the edit profile page from edit-profile, then the login page, the sign up page, and then the not found page from not-found. So we can just refer to the README file in order to figure out which paths we need to include here for each route. So the next route will have the path /explore. The component will be the explore page. Then we'll have username. And once again, we'll include a colon here to show that the end of this path is dynamic. It can change according to the username. So this is what's known as a route parameter. We'll see how to access this data from the path, the specific username that we have here within our component later on. So this is linked to the profile page. Next, the post page. So that's going to be post slash, and then the parameter, the route parameter here is going to be called post ID. Then next we're going to have all of our accounts pages. We're going to have accounts slash edit, and this is going to be for our edit profile page. Next we'll have the login page, the route for the login page, account slash login, and then we're going to have account slash email sign up. That'll be linked to the sign up page. And then finally, to match anything, anytime the switch component can't find a given route listed here, say we go to a route that doesn't exist, our user goes to a route that doesn't exist and isn't declared here, we're going to create a route, and the path is going to be set just to an asterisk, this glob pattern. That'll be a catch-all. So in any case, when route doesn't exist, we're going to show the not found page as the component. Now if we save this, if we save app, we still see the feed page, but say if we go to explore, there too we'll see the feed page. So what's happening is Switch is trying to use the first route that it sees, and it's matching for the root route, what we declared as the root route, with the path of just /. To make sure our feed page is only displayed when we have simply /, we need to add the prop exact. So only when the route is exactly / do we show the feed page. And now when we try going to explore, we see the explore page. Now when we try using some random string, it matches for the profile page. When we go to p/whatever, it also matches for the profile page. So once again, we want to use the exact prop here. And then we're shown the post page. And I'd recommend also adding exact to the post page route. Then for the accounts/edit route, see the edit profile page. For accounts/login, see the login page. And for sign up, or emails sign up, see the sign up page. And then for anything else, we see the not found page. And now that all of our routes are set up, let's move on to what I think is the easiest page, the simplest page that we want to start with, and that's the not found page. So if we head back to Instagram, we try going to a page that doesn't exist, we'll see that we have this kind of minimal header up at the top with just really the logo, Instagram logo, and then some text underneath for the body. So we're going to begin within a component, a shared component, and that's going to be the layout component. It's going to provide the structure, the basic structure, to a great deal of pages, and it's going to allow us to inject this nav bar wherever we need it very easily. So first of all, the layout component is going to wrap the contents of our not found page. So first of all, we're going to import layout. This is going to be from one level up and then into components/layout. We're going to replace the div with a layout component. So it's going to accept all of the not found page contents as children. So heading back to layout, we're going to destructure the children prop here. And we're also going to use the layout styles and put them in a variable called classes, as we're familiar with. So for the structure of layout, we're going to start with a section element, and it's going to have the class name of classes.section. Now, the benefit of using all of these scoped styles, using styles with a specific hook from our styles file, is that we can give each of our classes a very specific name. And in many cases, I've tried to name elements in a logical way. So if we have a section, for example, we can simply name it classes.section. most of the time the class is going to have the same name as the element or component that we're using. So you can kind of be thinking ahead as we're styling our app. Then we're going to have a main element with the class name classes.main. And within it, we're going to have another section, the class name classes.children wrapper. So this is going to wrap a div with the class name classes.children. And within this div, we're going to put all of the children of a given page. So now after this basic styling, we want, and hopefully you caught that, but within not found, it's not going to be directly within components. We don't really have anything directly within components. It's going to be in the subfolder shared. So to get layout, it's in components shared layout. So this centers everything, but we want to add our nav bar up at the top, and we also want to update some metadata, namely the title. We want to say page not found for the not found page. So we want to add a couple of elements to layout. The first one is SEO from our shared folder, and that's to change the title here, and it's going to be useful to change our metadata or search engine optimization information or SEO information. So back within layout, let's import SEO from shared SEO, and we're going to add this above main. And then going into SEO, we're going to use a specific package called React Helmet, which is going to enable us to change the meta information. So back in SEO, we'll import helmet from React-helmet. And we can use helmet just like a normal React component. We can add whatever metadata we want here between these helmet tags. So we're just going to change the title, and we're going to have it be the title text, whatever title text we want it to be. You can take this a step further and add, say meta tags here, or it could be a description, or maybe meta information with keywords, etc. But we'll just leave it at title for now. So we want to pass the title text that we want to show here through props all the way from our layout. So back within not found, we want to create a title prop, and here for the title was page not found. Then we're going to add or destructure a title, that title prop in layout, and then pass it down one level to SEO. And we'll do the same, destructure title from props. Now note the little Instagram text right after. We have this middle dot and then the text Instagram. What we can do is we can add a little ternary to see if we have a title, then we want to, using template literals, say title, and then add that middle dot, then add Instagram, the text Instagram at the end. Otherwise, we just want to show the text Instagram in every other case across our app. And then we're going to store this in a variable, the result in a variable called title text. And that's what we'll interpolate here. So then after saving all that, we see our title text is the same as Instagram's. And one final step is to add our nav bar. So we want to import our nav bar and include it under SEO and layout. We'll just import that manually from shared navbar. So we'll go into navbar here. And again, we're going to start off pretty simply. We're just going to include a logo on the left-hand side. So we'll grab classes first, and we're going to start with an app bar component, which we'll import from Material UI. and give it the class classes.appbar. Then within it will be a section element with the class classes.section. And then we'll have our logo, which we'll make as a separate component right underneath. So we'll call this logo. And to make things as convenient as possible, when we're in a given component, here we're in navbar, and we're creating another component within the same file, if we need to use classes, you can use the hook that we used in the main component. So here within navbar, we're using use navbar styles. For any styles in that new component, we can call that same hook and get our classes. And then here within logo, we just want to return a div. And this will have the class. For most divs, I give them a specific name. It's going to have the class of classes.logoContainer. We wouldn't want it to be classes.div. That's not very specific as to what that div is doing. And then we want to import a new component, which we haven't used yet. We want to be able to click on our logo and actually navigate to the home page. So to do this, we can use a component, another component from React Router DOM called link. So we're going to use a link here, and we use the to prop, and we want to go just to the root route, just to /. And within that will be a div, the class of classes.logo wrapper, and within that we'll actually have an image. Now this is going to be from our images folder, and it's going to be the logo.png file. So to use an image, we can import it just like a component or anything else. We can just import logo, we'll call this logo, from, and then we can go up a couple of levels and into images /logo.png. Then we can include on this image element logo as the source. The alt text will be Instagram, and the class will be classes.logo. So that should be good for now, and we'll save both of those files and see what we've got. Good so far. I'm not going to include a login link here. I think this is good enough since it functions as a link back home. But we can't see our not found page text. Remember the text that we have in the page? We can't see any of the content. So we want to add some default margin on the top so we can actually see everything that flowed behind our layout component. So what I'm going to do is here within layout, I'm going to add a prop called margin top, which we can manually change if we want to. We could go into not found and use the margin top prop and pass in a number of pixels that we want the margin top value to be. By default, I'll set that to 60 pixels, and we want this to be applied on the main element. So we'll use an inline style object to set the margin top property and value just like this. So now we should actually be able to see our page content, and we do. So now as for the content itself, we'll go into the not found page. And for this page specifically, most often we don't need to add any different margin than we have margin top than 60. But here I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm going to add margin top of 120. And the first element, as we see in the real version, is going to be this header and then some text, some paragraph text underneath with a link. So we'll start with a typography component, which will auto import from Material UI. And it's going to have the variant H5. We're going to align it to the center, and it's going to have a prop of paragraph with the text, "Sorry, this page isn't available. You can copy this directly from the page if you want. Then another typography component, which will also be aligned to center. And it'll just say the link you followed may be broken, or the page may have been removed. We'll just copy all that. And then as for the remaining text, go back to Instagram. We'll add a space manually by adding a set of curly braces and then a set of double quotes with a space in between. And then we'll add another link from React Router DOM. And this too will navigate users back home, so it'll be to /. And it'll include typography within it, the color primary, and the underlying component will be a span with the text go back to Instagram. And we'll actually put this space within the link itself. And then also we'll put the link within the typography component above. So now it fits all on one line. So that is our first page, and next we're going to move on to another accounts route, account/login. And if we look at the actual login page, we see that it doesn't include a header here, but it does have the title login up at the top. And within this kind of card, this paper component, in Material UI terms, what I'd call a paper component, we have the Instagram logo, larger Instagram logo up at the top, and then a couple of inputs here, a button underneath, a submit button, this or area, then an option to log in with Facebook, as well as an option at the bottom to sign up. And when you click on that link, it takes you to the sign up route. So let's head over to login, and we'll begin by bringing in between a set of fragments, the SEO component, which will auto import. We'll give it the title login. We'll switch over there to accounts/login. And we'll use login page styles. And we'll begin with a section, the class of section, then an article, and within that a card component which will auto import. So we'll have the class name card, and then a card header, the class card header, and then underneath that, but still within the card component, we'll have a form. And this is going to consist of a couple of text field components. When I refer to a component, most of the time I'm just going to assume that you're auto importing it, so I won't have to keep repeating myself. And for this text field, it's going to have the props full width, the variant will be filled, the label username in caps, margin will be dense, the class will be text field, and again I'm not going to keep repeating classes, be saying classes.textfield in this case, I'll just say text field. And for the autocomplete, we'll set that to their username. And we'll copy this text field and then add it underneath the props. Full width, variant filled, the label here will be password capitalized, margin will still be dense, the same class, and the autocomplete will be current-password. Then under that we'll use a button component with the variant contained, full width, color will be primary, the class will be button, and the type of the button will be submit. And for the button text, it's going to be login, since we're in the login page. Then underneath the form, we'll have a div, and this is going to be the area for that OR line that we see here. The div will have a class of OR container. The div within it, there'll be a div within it with the class OR line. Underneath that, a div which will have no class, and that will include a typography component. Now this will have the variant body2. Color will be text secondary to make that kind of gray, and the text itself will be OR. Then on the other side of this div, underneath the div I should say, we're going to have that same OR line, div with the class of OR line. Then underneath this div, this entire div here, we're going to have a component, a local component that we'll create called login with Facebook. And it's going to have the following props. The color will be set to secondary, and the icon color will be blue. Now we'll make this in just a second, but finishing with the rest of this, still within our card, we're going to have another button with the prop full width and the color secondary, and that will have within it as a child typography with the variant caption, and the text forgot password ? Then under the closing card tag, we'll have another card, and this is going to be for the sign up card that we have here. We'll have a card with the class sign up card. It'll have a typography component at the top with a line set to right and variant set to body2. And the text itself will be don't have an account ? Then underneath that, to the right hand side here, we'll have a sign up link. So once again, we'll need the link component. Now when you import this, if you auto import this most of the time, at least this is the case for me, it often wants to import it from the Material UI package. Sometimes you might have to just import it manually from React Router DOM. So link here is going to be to the route /accounts/email signup, and within this link we're going to have a button. The button will have a color of primary, and the class will be sign up button, and it'll have the text sign up. Now we can't save just yet because we need to create this login with Facebook component, this component underneath, and we are passing down two props, color and icon color. So this refers to what image we want to show for a given button. See the button here for the login page. Here on the login page, the button is blue, and the text here for this login with Facebook button is blue. But when we go to sign up, we see that those colors are inverted. The icon is white and the text is white, and while the background of that button is blue. So here for the login page, we're saying we want the color to be secondary and the icon color to be blue. So we'll add those props, color, icon color. We'll destructure them rather. And we're going to set up some logic here. First, however, we'll still use login page styles. We're going to need a class or two here. So we're going to grab classes from use login page styles. And we're going to add a ternary here where we're going to check to see if the icon color, if it has a text value of blue. If so, we want to import and use the Facebook icon blue SVG from our images folder. So let's make sure to first import that, what we'll call Facebook icon blue. This is going to be from one level up, images / Facebook icon blue, and make sure to end the extension in .svg. We can copy this entire line, and we also want to import Facebook icon white. It's white variant, which we'll name Facebook icon white, and note that this is a PNG. Just want it to be clear, just so there's no mistakes in importing it where you don't see an image for our icon. So if the icon color is blue, we naturally want to use the Facebook icon blue that we imported. Otherwise, we're going to use the white icon. And we're going to store a reference to that image or SVG in a variable called Facebook icon. And what this enables us to do is just return a button. Remember, we wanted to use a button here. And it's going to have the prop full width. And we're going to pass through the color prop. And then the variant. Actually, we don't need to include the variant. And now within this button, we'll first include the image, an image element, and we'll set the source to Facebook icon, whatever that value is. The alt text, Facebook icon, and the class Facebook icon. And then for the text of the button after the image, it'll be login with Facebook. So now if we save what we have our two inputs. We have our form here, our submit button, we have our login with Facebook button, and when we click on the sign up link, we're taken to the sign up page. Now we're also going to want to use this login with Facebook component within our sign up page, so we might as well export it. We don't have to put it in a dedicated file. We can just export it and use it within sign up. So let's find signup.js. And I believe we can basically copy our entire login page, so we can copy all of that. Actually, I'd recommend just copying what we're returning here, all the stuff that we're returning from the login page, and replace that with what we're returning in sign up page. And we'll just change things as we need. So first we'll grab classes from use sign up page styles. We're going to change first we're going to import SEO, and we're going to change the title to sign up, 2 words. The section will be the same. We'll still have an article here. We're going to have a card with the same class name, but instead of a card header, and by the way, we'll make sure to import each of our components. Instead of having a card header, we're going to have a div with the class card header. Then beneath that, let's actually take a look at our sign up page. Beneath the logo, the Instagram logo, we have some text here saying sign up to see your photos and videos from your friends. So we're going to add a typography component here with that text, and we'll use the class name card header subheader. Then underneath typography, we're going to import and use that login with Facebook component from our login file. And it's going to have the color of primary and the icon color of white. And here we want the button to have a different variant. We want it to have the variant of contained. So we're going to add that prop variant, and pass it down to button. Reset variant equal to variant. And then before we have our form itself, we're going to have our or line. So we'll just copy this, copy that whole div, and bring it up above our form. Next we'll have our form, but it's going to have the following inputs. It's going to have first email. So we're just going to change the label to email, the type to email, and then the autocomplete we'll remove. These autocompletes are just to help people fill out the form more quickly. You can remove them if you like. The next one will be with the label full name, 2 words. We can remove the autocomplete here. Then after that, it's going to be another couple of text fields. So we'll paste that in a couple more times. The next one is going to be one with the label username, 1 word, and the autocomplete will be set to username, all lowercase. And then finally, we're going to have a text field for the user's password with the type, password, and the autocomplete will be new-password. Now one thing I want to check is whether we included the password type. For our second text field, I don't think that we did, so I'll set type here to password back in login. My mistake. And then heading back to sign up, we're just going to change the text to sign up. We're going to remove login where login with Facebook was before. We're going to remove the forgot password button. And we're still going to leave the card here. But the text is going to say, instead of don't have an account, it's just going to be have an account. The class for the card itself will be login card. The link underneath is going to be to accounts/login, and it's going to take users to the login page. So the text of the button will be login, 2 words, and the class for the button will be login button. So assuming I did all that right, let's see how all that looks. So I'm missing a lot of components here. Text field, button, and link from React Router DOM. I'm sure you remembered to bring all of those in. So yeah, that looks a lot better. And as you see, for our login with Facebook component, for the sign up page, we're showing the blue background and the white icon and text, and the inverse for our login page.